They always say comedy comes from pain, and if you couldn't write jokes during the Lions era when they sucked, then you just couldn't write a joke. Period.
I know that you want to dine next to a strip club and a truck stop, and
yes,
we know that, that's listen to that skit. But what before that happens? Did you have anything planned for
Michael? If I make it to next Wednesday, I'm happy. I'm not going to lie to you. I was, when I got the invite to come on this podcast, I'm like, if I'm alive, this will be fun. Tomorrow's not guaranteed, so just try to appreciate everything right now. I mean, 5 years from now, right now, I'm just looking for a wet floor at Walmart to find a way to retire. I love when somebody asks me that. I'm like, I need some slip and fall. I got to get hit by a police car or something. Get some big money.
Derek Richards. All right, here we are. We're going to talk about the comedy. The Irish comedy tour. I just love that, the whole concept. Comedy, drinking, four guys traveling around. I'm just fascinated by that. Also a great career. Want to go back though. He's wearing a Lions hat. I'm kind of curious about that. Are you from Detroit? Where were you born and raised? Where were you born?
No, born and raised in Detroit. So this hat has seen some mileage. This hat has seen a lot of tears, Michael. This hat is not all full of puppies and rainbows by any means. So yeah, there's a lot of Lions attire that I've had in my closet for a while that through the years has gotten rotated out because I just thought it was bad mojo. It was like bringing a voodoo doll into my house. And I'm like, anything bad that's happening to me right now is because of this Lions gear that I had from years ago. So had to cycle out some of the old stuff and bring in some new stuff. But no, from Detroit and been a Lions fan for forever. So I appreciate pain.
That tells us your origin story right there. That's where the comedy comes from. A lot of heartbreak.
Oh, absolutely. They always say comedy comes from pain. And if you couldn't write jokes during the Lions era when they sucked, then you just couldn't write a joke, period.
Well, they almost they just were like a hair away from, that they blew that lead. They're going to go to the Super Bowl. I know that hurt a lot. I mean, what would you feel like? What would happen if they went to the Super Bowl? Would you have gone?
Well, it was here in Vegas where I live now. And I always said, I'm like, you know what? That would have been me investing because I've spent so much money going to Lions games and buying Lions paraphernalia through the years. And I'm like, you know what? That's going to be the one last needle in my head. I'm going to pay $5,000 to go to a Super Bowl and they're going to lose. And I'm just going to be so pissed off. So, I mean, for me, I love live. I'm a huge football fan. I love hockey. But I would much rather watch it in the comfort of my own home. I'm like, my drinks are way cheaper. My pours are way bigger. My food's way better. And you come by my place to watch a game, Michael, you can get to the bathroom a lot faster and the couch is comfy. Everybody here is not a douchebag. We're good.
You know what? You could have tailgated and then just go home for the game. And
I had thought of that.
Worlds.
No, believe me, I had thought of that. Had they gone to the Super Bowl, yes, I would have gone down to Allegiant Stadium and tailgated out there for a few hours ahead of time. Found some of my tribe, had some cocktails, and went, okay, I'm going to go back home and watch this one in the comfort of some air conditioning and a big comfy living room.
Those that don't know, the Raiders Stadium in Vegas looks like Darth Vader's helmet. It looks awesome. I've never been there. Have you been there?
Yeah, it's really neat. It's a cool stadium. It really is. But it's but it brings in, with the Raiders come the Raiders fans. And
right.
and every Sunday, Michael, it is like the doors of San Quentin open up and everybody from cell block D gets on a cheap Southwest flight out of Oakland. They land in Las Vegas. And they just destroy the area like it's a prison wreck yard. And then they get back on the plane and take off the next day. So it's I'm a Raiders fan by default. I like rooting for the team in the town that I live in. But but the fans that come along with that's a lot of baggage. It's like bringing your worst ex-girlfriends to your house every Sunday to watch something.
Oh God, this is good stuff. All right, let's go back to Detroit. Now, I want to know your origin story. When you started doing stand-up, were you the funny guy in school? Where was the first place that you did stand-up, and how old were you?
I was 1993. So yeah, it would have been, it was Thanksgiving of 93, 30 years ago when I started at 27 years old. So I started later than a lot of other people in Kalamazoo, Michigan at a little bar that a buddy of mine ran. I was in radio before I did comedy. And so I knew him from doing promotions and stuff like that. And so when I got fired from my last full-time radio gig, I'm like, I'd like to give this a shot. And he was just a great guy, gave me a great opportunity to get up on stage and host some shows. And the cool thing is Kalamazoo, Michigan is placed almost exactly halfway between Detroit and Chicago. So I could see some fantastic comics from both cities coming in there. And it was just a great learning tool for me to sit there in the back of the room and just watch these guys work, and made some great contacts and had a lot of fun doing it. So, and that's how it all started.
So that was 93. And then how often were you going up when you started? Did you start going up a lot right away?
Yeah, I was fortunate. I was able to start getting paid from the first time that I went up on stage. So there wasn't like an open mic phase. And the cool thing is my buddy who ran the club, I know, right?
Wow.
My buddy who ran the club was super cool. He's like, listen, go up there. If you're having fun, don't do more than 10 minutes. If they hate you, he goes, bail about 5 minutes and bring up the next comedian. So I went in there with absolutely no pressure on my back, which was the best scenario.
Wow. And you just started going, that was your spot. That was where you started going up a lot there.
Yeah, I was there for they did shows every Friday and Saturday. So I was there probably at least 2 or 3 weekends a month for about 6 months, and just kept, writing stuff and getting up on stage more and more, because that's the biggest thing to do. It's like anything. It's like if you're playing golf, if you're baseball, it doesn't matter what you do. Guitar, I mean, you just got to get up. You got to keep doing it over and over and over again. And that was the best experience for me to get. And then I moved down to Florida and went down there and lied my way into a bunch of really crappy clubs down there.
Okay.
Because you didn't have the internet back then, so no one could fact check anything.
Right.
You come in there rolling in there with your bullshit resume that wasn't even close to that.
Right.
And you go in there, you had to still present the old VHS tape.
Yeah.
I know, right?
That had to be good, though. You couldn't lie about that.
No, you can't. No, you couldn't lie about that. The cool thing was you go in there and you do a guest spot, and if the guy liked what you did, then he'd give you an opportunity. So that was good. I mean, it was the field was a lot less crowded back then than it is now for people that were clamoring for the spots that I was looking for at the time. And there was a lot of work down there to be had. So I was very fortunate.
There's always an inciting incident when a career kind of hits a critical mass point where you get a good opportunity. But I got to ask, because I just love this Irish comedy tour. You guys look like it's like a documentary / comedy tour, like a blue collar comedy. But you guys, how did that come about? And tell us a little about that, because that seems like you probably got a lot of heat from that, right? You probably got a lot of push. That moved the needle for your career. I mean, I don't know. Tell us about that experience. Seems like
well, I mean, for me, I wanted to put something together. I had a friend of mine that ran a theater in Jupiter, Florida, and he was doing a show around St. Patrick's Day weekend back in like 2005. And he said, hey, I want to bring in, and I was booking the show for him. I was bringing in different comedians, some friends of mine. And he said, hey, I'm looking for an Irish themed show to tie in with St. Patrick's Day. And I said, let me find a few Irish American comics, friends of mine that we can put together. And we did it. And it was a huge success. It was great. It was a small theater, holds like a couple hundred people. It was sold out, packed. We had a blast. And my buddy had said to me, the guy who ran the theater, he goes, I think you're onto something with this. And so I'm like, yeah, I like it, but I didn't want it to be like the Kings of Comedy or the Blue Collar Comedy Tour, where it was just 4 stand-ups. And no slight to the Kings of Comedy or the Blue Collar Comedy Tour at all, or the Latin Kings of Comedy. I mean, all funny people, but I wanted to have something that was a little bit of a different variation of it. So I wanted to try to tie in an Irish pub atmosphere with a comedy club. So now what we have is myself and Mike Malone are the 2 comedians on the show. And then our guitar player, singer is Derek Keane, who's from Dublin, Ireland. And then we have a fiddle player who's from actually from Nova Scotia, lives up in Maine now, but he's a classically trained fiddle player. He's brilliant. We put him in a leprechaun outfit, and we just play up the little stereotypes and have a good time with it. So the cool thing about it is, no one takes themselves too serious. I mean, a lot of the, true Irish people look at the leprechaun thing as sort of a kitschy stereotype thing. And, we're playing it up, but it's, everybody that's come to the shows, whether they're, if they're off the boat from Ireland or Irish American. They all have a good time with it. And we've just had a blast doing it now. And so it's been since 2006 when I actually started the tour. And the version of the tour that we have now, we've made a couple changes through the years. And so our guitar player and fiddle player have been with us for now, probably 12, 13 years now. And then we just added Michael Malone, who replaced another guy on the show. So it's great. And Michael Malone was the brainchild behind the whole documentary that we put together called One for the Road, which is out on YouTube right now. Still waiting for it to get on Amazon. It was supposed to be on Amazon, but there's been some glitches. So waiting for that to happen. But it is on YouTube called One for the Road, and it's a documentary kind of just going behind the scenes of the tour and kind of shows all the stupid stuff that goes on with putting the thing together and, bouncing from city to city. And it was really, really put together well with what he did. I was very, very impressed.
But I think there's an Amazon Prime special about it's the tour.
There's an Amazon Prime special that's out that was shot probably 4 or 5 years ago.
That's what
the Irish Comedy Tour.
And I don't think, do they cover that that was your concept, the story that you just told me? Did they cover that in that show? I don't think so.
No, we did. The documentary that we just shot was from last year's tour, and it's pretty much just a straight documentary. There is some comedy stuff in there from the show, but a lot of it is, like the shows themselves weren't professionally shot like they were in the actual special that was on Amazon Prime. So it's a little bit of a different vibe than what the first one was.
So how much was that? Was there really that much drinking?
There's plenty, and not everybody on the tour drinks as much as our guitar player. God bless him. He's a champ. I don't know how he gets up every morning and functions and exists through the day, but it's in his bloodstream. But no, he certainly enjoys plenty of cocktails. I'm an Irish whiskey guy. Our guy Michael Malone, who's on the tour with us now, he doesn't drink at all, and then our fiddle player has a few cocktails. But yeah, we like to have a good time. It's a fun show. It's great to be on the road with your friends. That's the biggest thing first and foremost. Because if you're traveling with people and you don't like them, that's why whenever you watch those VH1 Behind the Musics, if you remember when those were out there, all the band documentaries, and you saw how those guys hated each other. Right. They're traveling in separate tour buses. We're not in that financial platform to do that. So it's all climb into a Dodge Caravan and everybody gets along, or it's going to be a miserable 4 weeks.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. 4 weeks, still a good chunk amount of time. I didn't know how long it was, but it looked like you guys were with each other for quite a bit. And I always like to ask this question about, the relationships. I mean, did it get testy sometimes? I mean, the guys hanging out. I mean, I know a lot of times comedians travel with each other, but this was like a sustained tour. Was it challenging sometimes?
Yeah, once in a while, it doesn't matter. You're in a confined space with a bunch of people. I don't care. You take family vacations, it's, mom yells at dad yells at mom, the kids yell at each other. So, but at the end of the day, we're all family and we all know what the goal is and what we're looking to accomplish. So, we're just excited to be out there to do it. And everybody, quickly gets over whatever case of the ass they have at the time.
It's a nice situation. You kind of built your own lane for yourself because these people are like the crowds. There's this bandaloop of friendship. There. I mean, it's pretty exciting. I love when people are innovative like that. I mean, any highlights that kind of stand out for you that during those tours, like that any milestones that kind of stand out for you.
There's always cool stuff that happens on every tour. And, it's hard to pinpoint any particular things. It's exciting when
because there's so much drinking.
Yeah, well, exactly. Right. No, it's a cool thing. Every time I see it put together and it goes well and the crowd loves it and you get when they're into it and you get a standing ovation and you just see that this is the product that you've helped put together with some like-minded people that have the same goal of seeing it succeed. Because I want to do something like this because, back when I had started this, you didn't have the outlets such as YouTube that were out there and TikTok and given all these other entertainers an opportunity to put something together. So you really had to. You go back to like the Blue Collar Comedy Tour; those guys were all established. Yeah. Jeff Foxworthy, Bill Engvall, Ron White, Larry the Cable Guy, the Kings of Comedy that had Steve Harvey and Cedric the Entertainer. Again, brilliant guys, but all successful people. And so, none of us had a name when we put this thing together. So I wanted to kind of make it more of a brand and get people to buy into the brand and then put together the demo and kind of see what we're doing and go, okay, this is cool. I'll go ahead and spend, 25, $30 to come out and see the show. And we've been very grateful to have the audiences come out that we have.
Well, the whole thing is we get this whole grassroots vibe going on there. The crowd that's there, they're just, they just love you. They're prideful, and it's just the synergy. It's awesome. I think it's great.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, and the cool thing is you don't need to be, Irish to come out and see the show and enjoy it. Doesn't matter if you're Greek, if you're German, Polish, Jewish, doesn't matter. We're all, at the end of the day, we're all cut from the same cloth. The stuff that we joke about is stuff that relates to any ethnicity. And I mean, obviously the Irish have certain stereotypes. And like I said, we joke about them and play off them, like anybody else does.
It's like my big fat Greek wedding.
What's that?
It's my big fat Greek wedding. Everybody, it's kind of like the same,
huge.
Same vibe where people it doesn't matter. You don't have to be that, everybody can empathize with a contingent of people,
yes.
and to see people, you should see their, I really enjoyed it. You should see the on Amazon Prime, the special we're talking about, kind of get the whole vibe. You got to kind of watch, you have to watch that show to kind of.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's also on YouTube as well too. If someone doesn't have Prime, they can check it out, called the Irish Comedy Tour. And then, like I said, the new one that just came out called One for the Road is also on there as well. And that has a bunch of different material on there. And it's just shot a completely different way. So it's a cool, fun thing that we're able to put together. And, again, it's nice to be able to have the outlets that you have, such as YouTube, or being able to submit it to Amazon and they go ahead and put it up once they see that it's a quality product. And you're not being, it's not being handled by the gatekeepers in LA or New York that decide what America should see.
Right.
Because as we all know, everybody in New York and Los Angeles should absolutely dictate what middle America watches. So,
right. Hey, look, they'll let the people decide, and they do. I mean, I'm sure you're getting a lot of, it's done really well. Where are you at?
Thank you.
What's going on with you today, right now, in your career, your personal life? I know you said you might be making a move, but what's also going on with your, with you topically lately?
No, it's good. It's just great to be, I'm grateful to be as busy as I am. Doing a lot of stuff with a buddy of mine, Dave Landau, on his show called Normal World, which is on Blaze TV. It's also on YouTube as well. It's a fun, comedy panel podcast show that has different, inappropriate sketches put in there. Dave's one of the funniest people out there working, and I love the work that he does and the energy that he puts into that show. So I've been fortunate to be able to get down to Dallas quite a bit to shoot episodes with that, and then produce some shows with him. We're going to be in Billings, Montana coming up, and then we've got a bunch of other stuff that we're doing together in Charlotte, North Carolina, and a few other spots. So it's so it's good. I mean, and then I keep my own schedule, pretty active as well. So I'm very, very grateful.
These skits that were on Instagram, on your Instagram, is that from Blaze?
Yes.
Okay. Really well done. The lighting, just like, I mean, I'm looking at like how, some of the shots, even the insert shots, it's got a higher end look to it. It's not like, totally, guerrilla.
No, it's not done like like some crappy 14-year-old's TikTok video in their kitchen, trying to get their cat to do tricks. I mean, it's the sketches that they shoot are very, very well produced. I mean, the people that they have working there over at Blaze TV, one of the guys is who's one of the main editors and cameramen. His shots, he was, working on, films with Clint Eastwood in LA through the years. So yeah, he's great. And I mean, the most unassuming, chill, cool guy that you could ever run into. And
he's your DP?
He's the he's one of the production guys. Yeah, there's a few that are involved over at Blaze that work on Normal World specifically.
Okay, because I was a filmmaker, so I'm looking at that. That's what I'm noticing. I'm like, look at the insert shots and look at the Christmas lights pop on that like that drink of whiskey, or I was like,
yeah.
Wow, you actually know the shot I'm talking about. I was like,
yeah,
and that's really good. I was like, this is is a comedy skit, but like, you got a really good, team over there. I guess they, the lighting and the shot and the
Well, and
lenses.
especially someone who's done film like yourself. I mean, thank you. I'll be sure to pass that on to the
Yeah.
crew over there. So no, it's always nice to have. It's nice to get good feedback from anybody, but certainly someone who has studied that
Yeah.
and can see the work and the effort that goes into it. So thank you. I will pass that. I will pass that along to them.
Awesome. So, long-term view, what do you have, what's you plan out the 5 to 10 to 15 year plan, or I know that you want to die next to a strip club and a truck stop, and,
Yes.
we know that, that's, listen to that skit, but what, before that happens, would you have anything planned, till then?
Michael, if I make it to next Wednesday, I'm happy. I'm not going to lie to you. I was, when I got the invite to come on this podcast, I'm like, if I'm alive, this will be fun.
Is it that now? What's going? You look still youngerish. Are you not healthy? Are you what's your lifestyle like? Are you reckless?
No. You know what?
You look like you work out a little bit. Oh, you hold the mic. I'm like, this guy's got 4 arms. It looks like he's working out. Do you work out like when you're on the road?
Yeah, I try to as much as possible. I mean, I'm also now I'm a 24-year cancer survivor.
Ah.
And so, once, when that had happened, that was really kind of a, hate to use the overdone phrase, wake up call.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where I'm like, I should really kind of pay a little more attention to certain things that I do. And, as far as, diet and supplements and things like that, I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I still drink like a Viking. I can't. I'm not going to fake that at all. Anybody that's going to watch this is going to go, you are so not a complete health nut by any means. But no, it's I'm just, like I said, it sounds cliche, but I'm actually just, grateful for every day to be, out working and doing what I love to do and having a good time and, meeting cool people and stuff like that. And it's like, tomorrow's not guaranteed. So just try to appreciate everything right now. I mean, 5 years from now, right now, I'm just looking for a wet floor at Walmart to find a way to retire. I love when somebody asks me that. I'm like, I need some slip and fall. I got to get hit by a police car or something. Get some big money.
I always ask that question, and I love the answer I get sometimes with comedians. There's Brad Upton, he was on the show a little while ago. He's
he's great. Brad's funny as hell.
But he's done it for so long. He's like, yeah, you know what? I think I might retire next year or and just do it. I'm like, really? You think you could do that? You're just doing so well with the dry bar and all that. And he's like, yeah, but then there's other comedians, which I would compare, everybody heard me say this before, like Kane from Kung Fu. You're old enough to know what that is. Remember the David Carradine, in Kung Fu,
yeah.
And that's what comedians do, man. They're just going from place to place and they're very zen-like. And it's like, look, man, I just want to do this forever. And I'm going to be like Dick Shawn. I'm just going to die on stage, maybe. And that would be a great way to go.
For me, it's like, as long as I can keep doing this and as long as people keep laughing, as long as you can stay relevant, as long as you keep changing stuff and trying to, obviously not go up there, and there's certainly plenty of comics that still go up and do Bill Clinton jokes, which is, listen, if that's your thing and you're still getting hired to do it, then God bless you. I'm not going to say anything about how anybody makes their living, but for me, I need to at least be true to myself and just try to, keep writing new stuff and keep trying to be as, entertaining as possible. And as long as the audiences are laughing and people keep hiring me, I'll keep doing it. But, it's I give huge props to Brad. He really found his niche with his dry bar comedy specials. He's funny as hell. He's super clean. He's found that lane that he has just absolutely crushed. And I'm so happy for him. And he's just such a really good guy. So I'm happy that unfolded for him. But man, what a piece of shit wanting to retire in a year. God, the balls on that guy.
Yeah, everybody's got their own. Well, he wants to hang out with his wife a little more. I guess that's what he said. But hey, look, you're living the quintessential. You're writing your stuff. You're updating yourself. You're constantly moving forward, and you're living that lifestyle. And I think that's awesome, and it's wonderful to see. So tell everybody how they can find out more about you.
Now, yeah, I can find me on DerekRichards.com as my website. I've also got a bunch of clips on YouTube, also on Instagram, Facebook, and X. And there's also some stuff on TikTok, as long as that platform stays up for the next 2 weeks or so until somebody somewhere takes it down.
Right.
So, but no, it's great. Like I said, keeping super busy. Be in Billings, Montana coming up here, and then I'll be in Traverse City, Michigan, May 31st and June 1st at the Traverse City Comedy Club, and then I'll be at the Harrah's Cherokee Casino in Cherokee, North Carolina, coming up June 6, 7, 8, 9. And all my dates are at DerekRichards.com.
Well, Derek Richards, absolute pleasure. You're having a good time, and I love to see it. Thank you.
Man, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate you, Michael.
Pleasure.
Thanks for joining us. Gear up for your next adventure and head over to Bolator.com to check out the amazing Bolo Pack and their other innovative outdoor gear. Catch you next time.